As I previously mentioned, VAERS is what's called a spontaneous reporting or passive surveillance system. And we rely on patients to send reports into us. And I'll just walk through the basic report life cycle for VAERS and tell you what we have in VAERS. So in VAERS, the timeline is a person gets vaccinated. At some point after that vaccination, they experience an adverse health event. And then there is a decision by the patient or a parent or the healthcare provider to report that to VAERS. Some of these adverse health events that occur after vaccination might be true adverse reactions that are caused by the vaccine, and some might be coincidental health events that are not related at all to vaccine. VAERS is not designed to establish cause and effect, to determine whether the vaccine caused the adverse event. In VAERS, what we do is we monitor for unusual or unexpected patterns of reporting that might lead us to believe that we have a potential safety problem. We call these safety signals. When we do detect a safety signal, we do further assessment both in the VAERS system to determine if that safety concern or safety signal merits further evaluation. If it does, we can go to a more sophisticated or robust system like the Vaccine Safety Data Link, this electronic health record system, to further assess whether that is a true signal and to characterize the risk if in fact it is a true signal. I think one of the biggest misconceptions in VAERS is that reports to VAERS equate to true adverse reactions. Some of these reports to VAERS likely are true adverse reactions, and many of them are likely coincidental health events and not related to vaccination. And it's not appropriate to assume that every report to VAERS represents a true adverse reaction that was caused by a vaccination. Again, the purpose of VAERS is to monitor these reports and to detect unusual or unexpected patterns that might lead us to believe there's a potential safety problem. Another misconception for VAERS data is that an increase in the number of reports represents a true increase in the rate of adverse reactions. There are many reasons why there may be more reporting for COVID-19 vaccines, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the rate of adverse reactions is higher. For example, the FDA, when it authorized these vaccines under emergency use authorization, laid out some very specific adverse event reporting mandates. They said healthcare providers under the emergency use authorization must report certain adverse events to VAERS. And when the CDC established these relationships with healthcare providers in the provider agreements for participating in the COVID-19 vaccination program, CDC specified that the healthcare providers must abide by the reporting requirements in the emergency use authorization. Also, there has been a lot of public awareness and media awareness of the immunization program, which can result in reporting biases called stimulated reporting. Also, CDC has done a lot of education and outreach to providers to encourage them to report to VAERS. And these are some of the reasons why we think there has been a lot of reporting of adverse events to VAERS for COVID-19 vaccines. But when we look at the patterns of reports, they appear to be generally similar to other vaccines that are routinely administered in the United States.